What's up, guys? This is episode 76 of the Real Dealz podcast. I got a really cool episode for you guys today. We're shooting kind of our intro right here in the office. I kind of wanted to tell you what this episode is going to be about, and then I'm going to take you into the field, and we're going to go check out a bunch of really cool stuff. Now, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff online lately. A lot of people, you know, saying that they're gurus and that they're so successful, and they do the podcast circuit, and they talk about all the money they have and how successful their business is. But if you try and look them up, you really can't find much on them. And the other thing is that, you know, you don't know what their story is really, how they got there. And so for me, you know, I'm big into, when I meet people, I really like to know what's the backstory. How did they get there? How did they get to where they're at today? How did they get the company that they have? How did they get to the house that they live in? There's always, you know, a path that people take to get to success, if they truly have success and they're not just, you know, playing smoke and mirrors with you. So for this episode of the Real Dealz podcast, I wanted to take you guys in the field. And since, you know, I've made all of the success that I have here in the Portland area in the real estate market, I can take you to pretty much every house that I've bought, fixed up, lived in, and sold. And so that's what I'm going to do in this particular show. I'm going to show you each house that I have personally bought, the ones for my primary residence that I've bought, fixed up, lived in, sold, and then moved to the next one, and moved to the next one, and moved to the next one, which then has resulted in me being able to have the house that I have today that's free and clear, along with a very nice car that I'm going to take you guys on a cruise, my brand new RS7, which is pretty sweet. But I want to show you guys how I got here. Now, of course, we have a business. It generates a lot of income as well, but I chose to utilize the tactic of buying a house for as good of a price as I can, living in it for a minimum of 2 years, fixing it up while I live in it, and then sell it and take that money tax-free, because that's tax-free money. If you live in a property for 2 years or more, you can make up to $250,000 as an individual or $500,000 as a married couple. So I show you, let's see, I go to the first house I ever bought, I go to the second place I ever bought, which was a townhome actually right down the street from the office here. The third house I ever bought, which was a ranch that Tommy Two-Tone used to live in, the guy that sang 8675309. And then I take you to my current house that I live in right now, which is basically my dream house, the one that me and my wife built, that we'll probably live in for a long time to come. So I thought it would be cool to do kind of our version of ESPN's 30 for 30, you know, kind of a behind the scenes, how I got to the house that I'm in now, and how we got to kind of where my company is as a whole now. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know that I enjoyed shooting it, and it'll hopefully kind of paint a better picture for exactly how I got here today. So check it out. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys, I thought I'd take you on this tour today of all the houses that I've bought, fixed up, lived in, and then sold in my little garage princess here. This is 2015 Audi RS7. It's got a ridiculous amount of horsepower, and it's just a badass car. So I figured, hey, what the hell, let's take the cruise around in this and check out all the houses. So let's check it out, and let's get in and go.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Alright guys, we're in the beast. We're gonna start it up. Ready? Ooh, it's purring. Sweet little dash screen here. Watch this. As soon as we get loaded up here, We gotta put our seatbelts on, of course. I'll show you guys a cool little thing here once the computer gets loaded up.
They see all these things.
Whoa, we got to kill the music there, or the sound. So let me pause that. So it's kind of cool. It actually plays my podcasts automatically in my phone, and I can sync up Pandora and all kinds of other cool stuff. But check this out. So we can go to car here. This gives you the opportunity to decide what kind of mode you want to be in. So auto is like just chilling, you know, doing whatever. As far as, let me turn the fan down so you can hear. So auto is kind of like just the normal chill mode, and then we can go to dynamic. And if you listen to this, you hear that? The exhaust changes, car actually lowers a little bit, and now we're in badass mode. So we're gonna go cruise around here in badass mode and check out all the houses that I bought and sold. Alright guys, we are at the first house that I ever bought. Turn the AC down so you can hear me. And this particular house, shut the sunroof too so you can. This is the first house I ever bought, and this house, it doesn't look like a lot, and it's kind of overgrown, and the gal that bought it from me is actually an older pastor, a woman, so she's kind of let it get a little grown over. She likes her big bushes and plants and things like that, obviously, but this was the first house I ever bought, and I was driving around just like we're driving around right now, and that hedge wasn't there in front, and there was a for sale by owner sign that was in the front yard. And so I actually parked right about where we're here right now. I walked across the street because the sign was kind of leaning over a little bit, and I picked it up to try and write down the phone number, and a guy named Franco Ferrua, still remember his name, he came out of the front door right there, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Hey, is the house for sale?" And he said, "Well, as a matter of fact, it is." We started talking. I went inside. We had a long conversation, and from there, you know, we basically came to an agreement on the house, which is really cool. We got a gal behind us here, so I'm just going to pull out and we'll drive up the street, and we can show you some more of the house here. But so Franco Ferrua, as we drive by, I'll give you another shot. There used to be a couple palm trees right there. I always plant palm trees at all my houses. I tried to, but she took them out. But you can see the house here. You got the garage back behind it. That's the entrance that we used mainly, and I had a really cool pool table right as you walked in that door. That was kind of our pool table room. But this was the first house that I had that was kind of where me and all my buddies lived. It was, you know, I rented out all the rooms, or every room that I could. And basically, what it was is it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath when I bought it. And what I did is I actually I finished out the basement. That was one thing that I added a bedroom down there as well. And so by doing that, I was able to you know, basically add a 3rd bedroom that I could get rent for. So I lived upstairs. I had a buddy live on the main floor. I had a buddy live in the basement, and I rented it out for a better part of about 2 years, and was able to get about $1,000 in rental income to help pay the mortgage. But more importantly, so Franco Ferrua, who I bought it from, he wanted to move down to California because he had what they call seasonal depression syndrome. And so people have motivation for a variety of different ways, but you know, they basically, you know, the more motivated they are, the better the deal you can get potentially. Well, in this case, he was super motivated to go to California. He had equity in the home, and so when we started talking, I asked him what he wanted for it. He said he wanted $250,000, which at the time was a pretty good deal. I was pretty inexperienced, so I didn't know totally how good of a deal it was. But bottom line is we ended up putting a deal together. I bought it. I finished out the basement. I did some other kind of small updating stuff to it, cleaned it up, painted it, put some shutters on it, you know, did a little bit of landscaping, which now has been redone. Lived in it for 2 years approximately. Put it back on the market, and actually the day before I put it on the market, Dan can show you, he can point right there. You can see the stairs going down into the basement down there, and you can see the chimney on the outside of the house. There was a kid that actually drove straight ahead through here and plowed right into the house, and the front of his car was poking into the living room right there, just to the right of the chimney, and it was just an absolute disaster. So that I had to repair all that, and then finally was able to get the home on the market and sold it. And this home, I ended up making about $180,000 on the house. I sold it for, let's see, I bought it for $250. I sold it for just under $450, and after costs and some other things, I made about $180,000. So this was kind of like my seed capital, my first big win, which enabled me to, it helped me start my mortgage company, and then gave me some capital to kind of continue investing in real estate. And then I was able to buy the next place that I'll show you guys next. I didn't make as much money on the next place. In fact, I really didn't make any at all, but I made great money on this, partly because I improved it, but also because I got lucky. I sold this in 2006, the beginning of 2006, right as the market was just about peaking here, maybe about 6 or 8 months early from the absolute peak, but it was close enough that I was able to kind of capture those, radical increases in property value. So I bought it for $250, sold it for just under $450, and was able to pocket about 180 grand. So it was a great deal, and it really kind of helped push me forward into my real estate career, both in my mortgage company and real estate investing wise. So that was house number one. Now let's take off, and I'll show you guys the second property that I bought to live in. All right, guys, we're on our way to the second property that I bought to live in. And this one is actually, the first one I showed you was in Lake Oswego. The second one is going to be in downtown Portland, in southwest Portland, actually right down the street from where my office is currently. And I bought that place. It's a townhome because I kind of wanted to simplify things a little bit. I'd lived in the house for a while. I'd had a lot of roommates, had a lot of yard work. I'd done a lot of renovating. So I wanted to simplify. I also wanted to live a little closer to downtown for nightlife, drinking, partying, right? I was in my mid-20s, so I thought that would be cool. And I'd actually taken some of the money that I'd made from my first house. I bought a boat. I docked the boat right across the street from the townhome that I bought. So in the summertime, we could go out whenever. I didn't have to put the boat in the water. I just walked down to the dock, hop in it, and go wakeboarding or whatever. So that's where we're headed right now. I'm going to show you guys the second place. I didn't make really any money on the second place. It was more of a lifestyle purchase, but I found the second place similar to how I found the first one, and that was actually door knocking. I walked the street right behind the Buffalo Gap, which is a bar in John's Landing, and right across from Willamette Park, which is where I had the boat docked. And I just knocked on a couple doors and asked a couple people if they were interested in selling. The lady that I ended up buying it from, she actually said no at the time, but I left her my card and a little letter that said, hey, well, if you ever do decide to sell, give me a call. Well, she called me, and it was about 6 months later-ish, something like that, but she called me. She told me what she wanted for it. I didn't get a real big discount on it. I bought it for pretty much what market value was at the time. But like I said, it was kind of a lifestyle purchase, and so I ended up buying it for $306, the townhome, and then I did a little bit of paint, carpet stuff to it, a little bit of landscaping, and ended up selling it for $330. So I didn't really make any money, but it was a great place to live, and I had a hell of a fun time while I was there. So it wasn't a money maker for me, but it was a lifestyle purchase. So let's go check that one out. All right, here's the second house that I ever lived in, right here. And you can actually see a palm tree that I planted right out in front here. That was me. The right-hand unit there, that's the one I lived in. Ooh, that looks like hell with that AC unit hanging out the front of it right now. But that was the townhome that I bought, that I lived in. We redid it, we repainted it, we put the stone on the front of it. We trimmed out the windows up front, and we redid the whole inside as well, but you can't see that from here. But we did all the planning and the landscaping, and you can see the palm trees over there if Dan rotates it to the right a little bit. It's right over there. But looks cool. But that was my second place right there. We bought it for, I bought it for $306, and I only sold this one for $330. So really didn't make any money on it after basically real estate commissions and the other, monies that I put into the property to update it over time. But it was a great place. It's right down here in Southwest Portland. Show you as we take you down around the street here. Local bars right down the street, the Buffalo Gap, which is the main reason why, well, not the main reason, but one of the reasons why I bought the house, because I could walk to the bar, and it's awesome. It's right by the river down here, and it's just a really cool kind of downtown, Southwest Portland community. All right, guys, we're going to the third property that I bought to live in as my primary residence over the kind of course of my real estate investing career. And this one was bought at a discount. This one we actually bought at auction, and so we got it for a really good discount. And originally we were just going to rehab it and then sell it. Well, turns out I was living in the townhome at the time. We started to accumulate more stuff. My now wife Joni had moved in with me, and we've gotten our first dog, Lola. And so over the course of that time, we decided, maybe it's time to move into a house again. And so we decided to keep the project instead of flipping it, and actually move into it. And at the time, the market was pretty slow. It was 2009-ish. And so we weren't going to be able to get a ton of money for it because the market was so slow. And so instead of selling it and not taking the full gains, we decided to move in. So here's the house here straight ahead. It was actually Tommy Two-Tone's old house, the guy that's saying 8675309. And there's the house. We renovated the entire thing. It turned out absolutely awesome. It was a great house. I loved living in it. And here we got some people walking their dogs. But time came for us to ultimately move out of it at some point, and then we moved into the house we're in now. But it was a really great house. I loved it. It had 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, about 2,200 square feet. We bought it at auction for, let me think back here, $275. We put about, over the course of time, probably like 75 grand into it. So we were in it about $350, and then we sold it for $580, I think. So we made what's that? $350 to $580, $450, $550. We made over 200 grand on it. So we made a lot of money on this house, and that basically was another piece of the puzzle in order to be able to afford the house that I'm living in now and having it be paid for. But this was one that we actually bought at auction with the intent of flipping, but because it was 2009 when we were done with it, early 2010, we decided to stay in it and then sell it when the market got a little hotter, and we were able to capitalize on the upswing, and we made a ton of money with it. So that was the third house. Again, it was Tommy Two-Tone's house. It was a great house, but time came, we sold it, and people don't now have a fantastic house. And now we'll take you to the house that I live in. All right, guys, we're going to the house that I live in now. Some of you may have seen it before. We did another podcast episode on it, but I kind of wanted to talk about how we found that one and kind of the numbers behind it. And so this was actually a piece of property that had an old house on it and a little kind of outbuilding. And it was one that was owned by a realtor. A realtor had bought it in conjunction with another property, and they were selling this one, and they were going to keep the other one to renovate for themselves. It was actually on Lake Oswego, and so they kind of bought the properties as a package deal, but now he was selling this one. So I was actually driving around the area because I knew that we wanted to be in that area one day, and I saw the sign go up, and it was actually a listed property, but I called the agent directly and managed to work a deal out with him. And I actually bought it before the market started going bananas around here again. So I didn't have anybody else calling him right away trying to put a deal together, but we bought it with cash, so it made it a pretty easy deal for him to accept. But I called the agent directly, put the deal together. We obviously scraped the existing house that was there, and then we built the house that's on it now, which I'll show you very shortly. But we paid $485 for the lot, and really, if we were buying that property to spec it, we would have split the lot into two, and then built 2 homes and paid, approximately, let's call it $240 and some change for each lot. Well, we decided to kind of make it our forever house, and since we'd made a bunch of money on the previous one that I just showed you guys, and obviously we had money to roll from the the first house and everything else that we have been creating income from, we decided to just build the forever house on the lot. So we bought the lot for $485. We built our house for somewhere around $600. So we're into it for somewhere around 1.1. It's probably worth 1.6-ish, maybe 1.7. Probably more like 1.6, but it's worth a fair bit. But at this point, it's the house that we're going to live in for a long time, and we're not going to sell it. So no reason to sell it and capture that equity. But it's a cool house, so I just wanted to give you guys kind of the details behind it, and before we go take a look at it. So let's go check it out. All right, guys, this is the final house on our tour. This is the house that I live in right now. This is kind of the culmination of everything that I've showed you, all of the profits that we've made, not only in the business that you guys hear about in the podcast, but also from buying and selling the houses that I lived in previously. And this is what you aspire to. This is what you hope to be able to get to. This is the house. It's totally paid for. It's what I live in. And it's kind of, it's a process getting to this point, and that's why I wanted to show you guys the rest of the houses that I've bought on my journey, fixed up, sold, lived in, been able to take those profits tax-free because it's my owner-occupied residence, and then take that money, save it, don't blow it, although the car did cost a fair bit of money, but save it and use it to reinvest into your primary residence, so ultimately you can have a house, it's your dream house, that's paid for, that you can live in for as long as you want to. So this is my home now. I'm really excited about it. I like it. I love it, actually. My wife loves it. It's great for our family, our 2 dogs, our new daughter, and I just couldn't be happier with it. But I wanted to take you guys kind of behind the scenes, show you kind of what goes into having these things. And there's a lot of questions about, people say they're so successful or they have this and they have that. There's always a story. There's a reason why people have those things. And so I wanted you guys to kind of understand how I got here, how I've got the car that we drove around in, how I've got this house that I now live in, and kind of make that make sense for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this In the Trenches podcast here this week. But until next week, I'll see you guys next time.